Let me tell you why men have to stop calling themselves kings when they're not. And when I say when we're not, I mean not yet. Let me explain something for a second. I know that everybody out there, myself included, has done this before. Started calling each other kings, or I'm a king, I want to call in a queen. And for me, this starts to project the wrong kind of mindset. In fact, there's a whole stage of development that every man must go through. No shortcuts, no skipping steps to kinghood. We got to go through every single step of the cycle. And kinghood doesn't come till far later on. Most of us who are calling ourselves kings that I'm talking about are knights or princes, guys who are practicing becoming kings, getting ready to reign over a kingdom. But that's the thing. You can't reign over a kingdom if it hasn't been built yet. If you haven't accumulated the people and the resources and the things to give away as a king. There's a woman by the name of Alison Armstrong who's done some incredible work researching men, researching women, trying to figure out why we have such a hard time understanding each other and the unique dynamic that occurs between masculine and feminine. And she orchestrated the stages of development for men. I'm going to zoom through them very quickly. I do recommend that you go check out her lecture, The Amazing Development of Men, and her books. All of her stuff is gold. She starts with from 0 to puberty. From 0 to puberty, boys are called pages. This is when you see the little kid trying to pick up the sword, watching knights and hoping one day he will be a knight. Pretending, playing, imagining being a knight who can ride off on his steed and slay dragons. That's from 0 to puberty. It's all about the boy imagining being greater someday. From puberty up until sometimes the late 20s, early 30s is knighthood. And this is where guys start to recognize, I'm actually quite powerful. I do have influence on the world, influence on other people. I want to experience an adventure, see what I'm made of, see what I can do in the world, accumulate skills, educate myself, have experiences to inform myself of my future. Also, have failures to go along with the successes so that one day I can apply all of these learnings, all of these teachings to the kingdom I want to build. But for knights, these are guys who can't commit, won't settle down, still have something on the horizon that they have to go charge into. And this is not a bad place to be. A lot of times we just fail to acknowledge this is the stage that we're in. I see a lot of guys out in the world who are trying to act like princes, but really still feeling like they're in their knighthood, haven't experienced it all yet. These are the guys who get into a marriage in their mid-20s and feel like they haven't fulfilled all of the relationships and adventures they wanted to have before settling down and having kids. Maybe that's you. The important thing is that every single stage of development has to be completed before we move to the next one. So knights are all about fun and adventure, the next horizon, the next conquest, the next dragon to slay. Until one day that knight comes home and looks at an empty house, realizes there's nobody to be of service to, there's nobody to build for, no one to create for, no wife or partner, no children, no community, no audience, no following, or people to serve. And so gradually, not overnight, he starts to decide, I want to create and build something. And this is when the knight crosses the threshold from knighthood into princehood. If we're combining Alison Armstrong's stages of development with the rites of passage, this is where a boy would step across that threshold, go out and fast for 4 days and 4 nights, and come back choosing how he wants to be a man, how to begin that journey of manhood, of being of service, of giving a gift away. So princehood is actually a very long stage, and it's divided into 3 parts: early, middle, and late prince. And this can cover the span of 20 years of a man's life. So if knighthood goes all the way into the 30s, princehood can go into the mid 40s, early 50s before we ever become kings. Because king is on the other side of that. This is why I said, we got to stop calling ourselves kings, recognize where we're at. Early princehood is defined by the first 3 to 5 years of figuring it out. I know I want to build something, but now I'm putting my schematics together. This might be where he gets married and has children and then figures out how he's going to build his kingdom. Or builds his kingdom first to prepare for children and a partner. Doesn't always have to happen one before the other. But this is where we're actually building something, creating something, sinking our feet into the earth, settling in and building some roots for ourselves, for our family, for our future. Once that blueprint is decided, I know what I want to create, I know how I want to be of service, my family, my community, my clients, my work, my career, etc., middle princehood starts. And that's where we go into this 15-year chunk, 12 to 15 years of just building, nose to the grindstone. A middle prince is not available for much more than just building, creating. He's going to turn away other distractions because he's so locked in on his mission and his purpose. And finally, we come to late princehood, which is that 1 year, 6 to 12 months where the kingdom's been built and the late prince looks back and says, wow, look at what I've done. Look at what I've created, kind of relishing in the exuberance of completion, the achievement phase that soon after is always followed by the hangover, the emotional drop off the cliff when all of that hard work, those 12, 15, 20 years sometimes of energy and effort gone into something, and then we begin to question, was it all worth it? This is where midlife crisis, or I don't know what my life is about, Alison Armstrong calls it going into the tunnel, that occurs before kinghood, where a man must look at his life, review what he's done through page, knight, princehood, and decide, was it all worth it? Did I hit my mark? Did I do what I came here to do? Or did I fail? Did I miss it? Did I miss the mark at some point? And if he makes it through that tunnel, if he gets through on the other side and realizes I did what I came here to do, and now I can give freely of my time, of my energy, of my wisdom, then the man emerges a king. And thus begins the stage of life of giving, of providing for the people. This is where kings make really great mentors. These are the older men in your life who can look at your life and laugh along with you and help you see what you may have been missing along the way. Kings are the ones who will make time for you, and you'll wonder, how does this guy possibly have time to talk to me? How could he possibly take so much of his time during his day to talk to me? That's a king. And so instead of calling ourselves kings, let's say I'm practicing becoming a king, or I'm in the process of becoming a king. In fact, I'm square in my early princehood. That's right where I'm at. I'm a prince right now, and I'm gonna own it. Instead of trying to pretend to be something that we're not. Because to be a king is actually a really big responsibility. And it only comes when you've accumulated experience and something to give from. Kings used to live in giant castles with tons of grain and resources to give freely to the people. That's what a king does. Someone who's still building their kingdom, someone who's not even within the city walls, they're out on their steed in the middle of nowhere slaying dragons and rescuing fair maidens. That's a knight. It's not a king. Sometimes the king pretends he's a knight again and throws on the armor for old time's sake, just because every man has a sense of adventure in him, some bigger than others. But there's a big difference between a knight, between a prince, and between a king. So just acknowledge where you're at. Which one of these stages resonates with you the most? If you need some more clarity, then go check out Alison Armstrong's Amazing Development of Men, because she lays out in exquisite detail what each one of these stages is represented by. Know what stage you're at so you can know what to expect of yourself, know where to challenge yourself to be the man that you are in this moment, right now. And so you don't start to judge yourself for not being farther off, not being farther ahead of where you want to be. Because the comparison game, the competition game is a losing game all the time. It's not about that. It's about being where you are right now. Prince, king, knight, wherever you're at, own it, live it, be it, enjoy it, and live it to its completion, because you'll never be able to move on to the next stage until you do. All right, everybody, I hope you guys are enjoying these Monday morning meditations, especially this new video format we got. If you like it, if you love it, hit that subscribe button so you get notifications each and every time we drop a new video. And while you're at it, drop a comment as well, and go check us out at risingman.org for all of our rising man opportunities. Peace out, y'all.